They said she'd steal my secrets. Then she threw herself in front of the sniper bolt to save me. Dex's heart still pounds at the echo of that whispered warning. His reflection fractures in the cracked viewport as charcoal darkness swallows the hold. Betrayal and sacrifice entwine in his mind, the Predator's role undone by a single act of defiant heroism. Dex Rowan wakes in chains, the cold kiss of iron cuffs biting his wrists as the freighters hold creaks around him. Rust blooms on bulkheads, the scent of oil thick in recycled air. Through grated steel he expects a ransom pitch, but silence rules. The dim red emergency lamps flicker, casting long shadows that whisper of isolation and the calm before a storm. Through the viewport, a lone gunner's rifle hammers sparks into the gloom. Each muzzle flash blooms white-hot against the metal hull, painting fractured silhouettes in flickers of terror. Dex's breath hitches as he braces, heart sinking with every explosive crack. Time stretches. The moment between trigger and impact, hope and oblivion, predator and prey. A blade of pure light arcs through the darkness as Arya Voss lunges between Dex and the sniper's path. Her armor shards glow with borrowed radiance, steel singing against the hold shadows. In the brief flare, she is both hunter and guardian, defiance incarnate in a fleeting silhouette that banishes dread with its brilliance. Arya crumples to the stained deck, blood blooming like a dark rose across her chest plate. Her breathing shudders as crimson beads glint in the low light. With trembling lips she whispers, "I can't lose you, not like this." The hold stutters in stunned silence, alarms wailing too late to drown out her sacrifice. Every mercenary in the dank hold freezes mid-breath, rifles suspended in rigid disbelief. Their gazes slide from Arya's crumpled form to Dex's wide-eyed shock. No one dares break the cavern's stun hush. Gauntlet hands tremble on triggers. In that fragile heartbeat, the roles of hunter and hunted collapse, bound together by the sheer gravity of her sacrifice. Dex's skull hammers with questions. Why would the merc killer risk her life to save him? His instincts clash, gratitude warping into suspicion, fear giving way to curiosity. He strains against his cuffs, mind racing through every motive, betrayer or savior. Each breath tastes of metal and revelation as trust, fragile as a shard of broken crystal, sparks to life. In that charged heartbeat, Dex sees past the chains and blood. He's not merely a captive. Arya's blade-wielding kidnapper has become his protector. Their hands meet, her gauntlet grip over his cuffs, sealing a pact forged in steel and sacrifice. In the flickering red glow, predator and prey stand transformed, bound by an unlikely alliance that could shatter worlds. Across the fringe systems, the Stellar Syndicate holds life hostage under iron contracts. Crime lords auction off breath and blood like commodities. In neon-lit corridors of distant outposts, holographic ledgers tally every black market bid, deciding who survives and who's left to die. Their trade routes snake through asteroid fields, where a single credit difference can condemn a family. Under syndicate charters enacted after the corporate collapse, fear is minted in credits, and hope is outlawed. Freighter holds double as brutal auction pits, where abductees stand shackled in steel stalls beneath blood-red holobanners. Bioscanners embedded in their collars pulse information to bidding merchants, each heartbeat feeding live data streams to bidders craving the next trophy. Overhead drones project two-way holographic feeds of terrified contestants, broadcasting pleas and panic across the chasm. In this mercenary showcase, humanity is reduced to a commodity, and every whimper can raise the price tag on someone's life. Dex's data crown glints beneath cracked holoscreens, its encoded loops now flagged as high-priority asset by syndicate intelligence. Once a master key for corporate vaults, it now bears a crimson bounty tag that sets every enforcer's pulse racing. Syndicate operatives huddle around glowing consoles, salivating at the ransom and information it might unlock. What once pried open executive suites now locks Dex into a death sentence, a coveted prize that promises fortune to whoever claims it. Dex ducks under a jury-rigged comm scrubber, its makeshift coils spitting static that scrambles transponder echoes. He mutters, "Great, public enemy number one, ticketed for execution." With each footstep, the scrubber's hiss swallows his biocrown's pings, cloaking him in digital shadow. In these dim ducts, hacked frequencies blur the line between hunter and prey, turning Dex into a ghost drifting through syndicate strongholds, seen by none, but wanted by all. Mercenaries cluster around flickering hololedgers, fingers dancing across virtual pages. Extract intel, deliver to Koresh Val. No questions. Each entry ranks Dex's value and sets extraction protocols in precise detail. Corporate-sponsored killers recite his dossiers like prayer, memorizing every code loop in his crown. Failure means forfeiture of fees. Success nets gold and favor. In this ruthless economy of lives, loyalty sells cheaply, and a single misstep turns a paid contractor into the hunted. Flickering conduits hum a dirge of warnings. Any spark of defiance and hidden kill drones spill for vents. The station's veins pulse with threat, circuits ready to unleash mechanical vengeance. Metal ribs along the hold rattle as hostile patrols await a single misbeat, sensors tuned to whispers of revolt. In this fortress of steel, rebellion dies in a heartbeat. Yet every hum also reminds Dex that he and Arya team with dangerous hope. Yet beneath the Syndicate's iron code, Arya's staggered breath echoes in the rusted hold. She's broken every rule to save Dex. Her crimson chest plate bears the scars of treason. Bullet grazes, scorched sigils, and frantic patching from stolen med gel. Each ragged gasp defies Syndicate doctrine, rewriting predator and prey. In her sacrifice, mercy outweighs profit, and a mercenary's vow transforms into a shield rather than a sword. Dex grips his cufflink transmitter like a lifeline, its soft pulse a promise and a threat. With each tremor, he waits. Will an off-grid ally answer, or will the Syndicate's kill squads descend? The device's encrypted heartbeat flickers in his palm, toggling between locate and standby. Around him, Arya's pale hand steadies his, sharing in the gamble. One press could spark rescue or damnation, and hope hangs by that fragile connection. Dex yanks off his threadbare smock, tearing a wide strip. He presses the damp cloth against Arya's chest plate, knotting it just above the bleeding wound. The antiseptic tang of fuel and sweat mingles as he tightens each loop. More than fabric, these knots bind his fate to hers. Slowly, the blood flow eases, and her breathing steadies beneath his trembling hands. In that ragged moment, healer and save blur into a single purpose. The hold's red emergency lights pulse overhead. Arya, sweat and blood streaking her face, fixes him with a fierce glare. "You owe me your life," she hisses. Dex meets her eyes and the barrels flicker beyond the viewport. "Then tell me why," he whispers back. Their words hang between the whine of distant servos. No grand promises, just a raw reckoning of debt and truth. The flickering lights cast dancing shadows on their faces. Dex forces a grin. Thought kidnappers like hostages, unarmed. A strangled chuckle escapes Arya as she clings to consciousness. "I prefer survivors." Their laughter cracks the tension, an ember in the dark hold, forging fragile solidarity. Dex scavenges a damaged med injector from the floor, its one usable dose of stim serum their lifeline. He rigs the archaic device, wiring it into a freighter's power node. Each hiss of the servo arm risks triggering the kill drone's sensors. Holding his breath, he injects Arya. Her chest plate flares with biolight as the serum pulses into her veins. No alarm sound, only the thump of her heart echoing in his ear. Cramped amid dripping pipes and rattling conduits, they confess their scars. Arya's voice trembles as she names battles fought. Dex's voice breaks recalling betrayals that left him empty. With each story, the steel walls feel less like a cage and more like a crucible forging trust. A patrol bot's metallic claws echo down the corridor. Instinctively, Arya ducks behind Dex, pressing her body to his back. He pivots, raising an arm to block its searchlight. The bot whines, hesitates, then trundles on. In that protective stance, She places her faith where once she met only weapons. When the corridor falls silent, Dex presses the final stitch of her bandage. Her breathing smooths. Relief flickers in her eyes. He realizes that his own fear has been replaced by purpose. Caring for her has become his beacon. Dex pulls out his cufflink transmitter, its single LED pulsing faintly. He lays it in Aria's palm. "If you can use this," he says, "I'm with you." She grips it, the glow mirrored in her gaze. A wordless vow that they will face whatever comes together. United, they rise to their feet. Dex's fingers dance over the cracked control panel, overriding the hold's locking code. Sparks fly as the hatch grinds open, spilling pale sunlight into their metal tomb. Side by side, they step onto the freighter's deck, captor and captive reborn as allies, bound by shared shadows and the promise of dawn. In the freighter's dim hold, Dex's cufflink transmitter hums to life, pulsing with neon blue encryption that should have been lost forever. Aria's breath catches as she recognizes the arcane pattern, the Stellar Syndicate's Valerian cipher, thought eradicated in Koresh Val's purge. The device glows like a hidden heart, its glyphs cycling through forbidden code. Dex stares, stunned. This unassuming trinket on his wrist holds the vault keys to untold wealth and power. Around them, the rusted walls seem to lean in, drawn toward the chip's impossible promise, as hope and danger ignite in equal measure. Aria clamps the cuff link into a jury-rigged console scavenged from the hold's maintenance rack. The screen erupts in hollow runes, fractal schematics of Syndicate safe houses, smuggler routes, black market nodes, 12 frontier systems laid bare. Light spills across the hold as encrypted maps cascade in midair, each corridor and choke point revealed in crystalline detail. Dex watches data streams flare like fireworks, exposing hidden vaults and clandestine trade, lanes he never knew existed. The weight of revelation presses on them. These blueprints are the Syndicate's veins, now exposed, ready to be severed. Footage crackles to life. Aria in Syndicate Black Ops gear, eyes cold as she hunts runaways through neon alleys. Her visor lifts in shock as orders scroll in crimson. Purge non-combatants. The scene shifts, her reflection haunted as she intercepts Koresh Val's genocidal command. Her gun shakes. She lowers her weapon, refusing to fire. Dex's breath catches at her agony and resolve. The girl who saved him was once the Syndicate's fiercest predator, until she saw the price of loyalty in innocent blood and chose betrayal over obedience. A new hollow layer blossoms, Dex's Datacrown payload. It contains the master key to every Syndicate vault and encrypted kill orders for hundreds of innocents. Names and faces scroll endlessly, political dissidents, refugee families, rival syndics. Dex's heart thunders as he realizes the Crown's true power, a tool of pure oppression in the wrong hands, and the instrument of their downfall in the right ones. His hands tremble around the Crown's familiar curves. He thought himself a courier of data. Now he understands he carries the weight of countless lives. Dex reels back, voice trembling. "I thought I was just a courier." Aria's eyes glisten with tears and fury. "You're carrying their undoing." They exchange a look that binds them tighter than any chain. Predator and prey united by truth. The hold's metal walls fade into shadow as their shared astonishment crystallizes into purpose. No longer isolated fugitives, they become co-conspirators in a revolution that could topple the Stellar Syndicate itself. A buried protocol scrolls across the console. Terminate Guardian Asset, or Corporation False. The words flash red, a death sentence for Dex if he remains unneutralized. Aria's jaw tightens, Dex's pulse spikes. Every second counts. The Syndicate's kill drones will respond to this override. The oppressive strobe of warning lights transforms the hold into a harbinger of their own execution. They share a silent vow to defy that command or perish trying. Aria's armor vents hiss as she presses her hand to Dex's shoulder, eyes fierce. "I refuse to kill you because you're the key to ending this." Her confession cuts through his fear like a blade of hope. Dex feels the fragility of their alliance solidify into iron resolve. In that moment, the Hold's dread shifts. His survival becomes the spark of insurrection. Together, they embrace their roles. She, the redeemed warrior. He, the unwitting architect of the Syndicate's collapse. The bulkhead shudder. Outside, Kildrone claws screech as they rip through steel plating. Sparks shower into the Hold as a squad of winged automatons spills in, their red sensor eyes locking onto Arya and Dex. Sirens wail in mechanical refrain. The air vibrates with imminent peril. Each metallic hiss a countdown. No time for hesitation. They must move before drones override Arya's override. Arya seizes the cuff link and floods Dex's transmitter with every stolen Syndicate secret. Corrupt governors selling children, slaver rings trafficking on hidden platforms, hostage caches buried beneath corporate vaults. The data bursts outward in subspace shards, leaking to every vessel in range. Distant consoles aboard the freighter cough to life as the torrent detonates, illuminating hidden truths across the void. The Syndicate's empire trembles under the weight of its own sins laid bare. With defiant precision, Arya stamps a hollow sigil onto Dex's cuff. Protector. The emblem shimmers, an ironclad declaration that he is the guardian of truth and justice. Dex flexes his wrist, feeling the resonance of his new identity. No longer a pawn, he stands as the symbol of the Syndicate's undoing. In that single word, hope and defiance fuse into an unbreakable mandate. Dex clasps Arya's bleeding hand, voice steady despite the chaos. Then let's bring them down together. Their palms find warmth amid the Hold's cold steel. Above, drones swarm in metallic vengeance. But below, two conspirators forge a pact of steel and blood. The hum of revealed secrets and the pulse of their unified resolve echo as one. Alarms crescendo as Arya races to the drive core console, fingers dancing over hacked circuits. The freighter's engines cough, then roar, tearing free from the Syndicate's docking clamps. She leans close, whispering, "Brace yourself." Dex grips the helm, adrenaline forging calm. With a final lurch, the ship jettisons into the void, carrying exiles, defiance, and the promise of a galaxy reborn. Across every illicit comm network, holonets across fringe worlds erupt in urgent red. Protector asset escaped. Arrest for death of Syndicate enforcer. Smoky backroom dens, pirate docks, and black market bazaars all flash Dex Rowan's mugshot. His face burned into every screen as both warning and bounty. Traders pause mid-exchange. Information brokers scramble to update their ledgers. Even veteran smugglers whisper his name with a mixture of awe and dread. In every sector, the Syndicate's edict resonates like a death knell. Capture at any cost. For Dex, that means the entire underworld has turned hunter, and a line between friend and foe blurs in neon-lit paranoia. Koresh Val himself issues the sealed command. Execution frigates dispatched under no survivors protocol. In flagship command centers, hollow screens project Val's cold visage as he intones the directive. Obliterate the Protector asset without hesitation. Armadas converge on known waypoints. Strike wings armed with plasma lances and Void Seal warheads primed to reduce any resistance to cosmic dust. His name alone sends shockwaves through Syndicate ranks. Failure is unthinkable. Betrayal is fatal. Fleet captains recalibrate targeting solutions, while tactical AI calculates kill probabilities. Across the sector, dread ripples in cadence with Val's mandate. Any hope of quarter evaporates in the shadow of his genocidal intent. On fringe world hollow billboards and darknet feeds, mercenary captains slam Dex's image in front of eager crews. High reward for cuff and crown, 200 M credits. Black market trackers embed microtransponders in wanted posters, pinging location updates with every signal lock. Rogue mercs auction off kill rights in encrypted auctions, pitting cutters, boarders, and saboteurs against one another for the richest prize in years. Every checkpoint, every orbital customs post is a potential ambush. Whispers in smoky taverns trade coordinates and bribe rates. Greed smothers loyalty as scavengers turn informant at the sight of credits tall enough to buy legions. For Dex and Arya, escape demands constant movement and masks forged of perpetual distrust. Locked behind the reinforced hold hatch, Dex snarls into the comm mic with feral humor. Tell them I'm a little busy rewriting their obituary. His voice crackles with static over syndicate channels, an open taunt that sows confusion in enemy ranks. Crewmen hear the broadcast and pause, uncertain whether to fire or flee. Arya allows herself a brief, wry smile even as pain courses through her. That laugh, that challenge, becomes a rallying cry, a ghost mocking the hunters. Each word deepens their legend, stoking both fear and fascination across the sector. In that defiance, Dex reclaims agency. No longer prey, he becomes the predator of those who once enslaved him. Beneath the Undercity, hidden enclaves flicker alive as luminous fist cells and rogue minor covens catch the comm leak. Lantern-lit, safe-house pings blossom on Dex's HUD. Coordinates encrypted in low-frequency quantum beacons. Smugglers offer whole free passage. Ex-soldiers volunteer their cloak ships. Minor councils whisper of neutral harbors where no syndicate boots may tread. Arya's sacrifice burns bright in their memory, her defiance a spark for long-dormant allies. Relief surges through their veins, solidarity forged in valor. Yet with each beacon comes risk. Moles and double agents lurk in every backwater hideout, their loyalty tied to the highest bidder. Dex slams the uplink kill switch, severing every external lifeline. No more handouts, we carve our own path. Screens wash to static, the hold's indicator light dies. They rely solely on their wits, the Datacrown's secrets, and each other's courage. Each promised refuge has become a liability, a potential den of informants. Their bond is the only sanctuary impermeable to betrayal. Without sanctuary, every corridor is both prison and promise. They step into the freight pit with no map but the constellation of codes etched in Dex's memory. In this crucible of distrust, self-reliance becomes their creed and unity their only compass. A nebulous storm erupts around the freighter, ionized particles roaring through space like cosmic hail. Plasma arcs streak past the viewport, blinding syndicate sensors in crackling orange-blue haze. Dex leans into the helm, weaving the ship through electric maelstrom that jams subspace and EM scans alike. Each jump through charged vapor conceals their signature, gifting fleeting invisibility. The storm's chaos cloaks their flight as they navigate by hand-tuned thruster burns and the faint glow of Arya's sigil. In nature's fury, they find refuge, charged winds as unpredictable allies. Every shudder of the hull becomes a pulse of hope, forging their escape through cosmic tumult. Beyond the ion fog, the freighter lurches toward the outer fringe, uncharted sectors beyond syndicate dominion. Dex sets coordinates for a hidden star cluster, engines roaring as the vessel breaks free from pursuit beams. Arya stands at his side, eyes fierce in the dim console glow. Next stop, their heart. Their shared glare promises vengeance and redemption. With each light year passed, they shed the chains of captivity and corporate control. Ahead lies uncertain freedom, lawless trade routes, pirate sanctuaries, and rebel strongholds ready to tear the syndicate down. Together, Protector and Shadowheart become the spearhead of revolution. Their flight the first salvo in a war for the galaxy's soul. In the den's shadowed corner, Dex leans close to a battered hollow projector replaying ministry testimony. Refugees, unarmed and pleading, cut down on Arya's order. Each clip pulses in cold blue light. The projectors flicker, carving accusing silhouettes across rusted girders. Holographic victims' faces drift through tattered frames as Dex's own reflection fractures in the glass. Shock and disbelief tighten his chest when he recognizes Arya's steady aim in every execution. The logs loop endlessly, a litany of blood-drenching memories he once cherished. In that flickering half-light, Gratitude warps into guilt. If she once slaughtered innocents, can he truly place his life in her hands? Arya hunches against a corroded support beam, shoulders drawn in on themselves beneath dented pauldrons. Neon veins from broken tubes wash her in jagged hues as she presses trembling fingers to her chest plate. "I became a monster I try to stop," she whispers, voice cracking. Tears glint on the inside of her visor as holographic echoes of her past. The faces she couldn't save play on loop behind her. Each flicker of that brutal footage sears her conscience, the sigils on her armor seeming to burn with every memory. In the hush, her courage falters under the weight of unforgiving truth. Dex pivots away from the holologs, chest tight as he steps through drifting steam and neon haze. He meets Arya's gaze across the cratered floor and admits in a rough voice, "I owe you everything, but can I trust my savior?" His words hang in the stale air, dripping like coolant from overheated vents. Graffiti reading, "No truth in lies," flickers in the glow above, mirroring his turmoil. Fear coils around his resolve. Every instinct screams to run, yet her sacrifice anchors him. Doubt claws at his conviction. To survive together, he must decide if forgiveness can outshine betrayal. Between them, the den's sputtering neon tubes slice the gloom into discordant bands of pink and green. Decks stand a measured step from Arya, their silhouettes half-lit against crates of contraband. Steam curls at their boots, and distant machinery hums like an anxious heartbeat. Silence presses in, magnifying the chasm carved by truth and regret. Neither dares to breach the space, his gratitude shadowed by her confessions, her hope shadowed by shame. In that stuttering glow, there are two figures suspended between light and dark, suspended on the precipice of trust or fracture. Slowly, Arya removes the syndicate crest from her armor, the metal emblem clattering onto a rusted crate. Her hands tremble as she lays it bare, voice barely audible. "Maybe you're better off alone." The sigil's edges dull in neon ruin, a symbol of everything she's lost. By discarding it, she bares her soul and relinquishes command. Dex watches, heart pounding, as her plea hangs between them. This act of vulnerability demands mercy. Will he accept a protector stained by blood? The den's humming vents amplify her question, as if fate itself awaits his reply. Dex steps forward without hesitation, retrieving the crest and pressing it back into Arya's hand. His tone is soft but unwavering. "I need you, monster and all." The words land like a lifeline, banishing the rift in an instant. His eyes lock onto hers, pledging acceptance beyond past sins. The neon above steadies, bathing them in a steady glow that mirrors his conviction. In that gesture, they transcend predator and prey to become partners in purpose. Forgiveness blooms amid the grime, his choice forging a bond stronger than any chain or command. Side by side, Dex and Arya stand as the den's lights pulse with newfound steadiness. The hollow logs dim into darkness, replaced by the soft cadence of their breathing in unison. Their pact, tempered by truth and bound by shared purpose, shines brighter than any crown. Around them, the underworld bustle continues, oblivious to the revolution born in that cramped hold. Together, they will face syndicate fury, each heartbeat a vow to protect one another. In the hush of the neon-lit den, two allies rise from betrayal and doubt, united at last against the darkness that once threatened to consume them. Word of the Protector ripples through Arbor Prime's rebel network, a once-oppressed syndicate slave world now stirring with hope. In a mist-veiled woodland enclave, guerrilla scouts slip between colossal redwood trunks, their whispers carried on damp breeze. Holographic comlinks flicker through bioluminescent mushrooms, projecting Dex Rowan's silhouette into secret clearings. Elders reference tree-born oaths, murmuring that the Protector's arrival was foretold by sap-scarred prophecies etched into standing stones. As dawn light fractures through moss-draped branches, the enclave convenes beneath a canopy alive with fungal glow. Hearts long hardened by bondage soften at the promise of his coming. He is not just a myth, but the spark of renewal in a world desperate to breathe free once more. When Dex's battered freighter settles onto a makeshift landing pad of woven branches and vines, the rebels emerge bearing bioluminescent torches, living flames that pulse with emerald light. Each torch is a vow ignited, to follow the protector through darkness and back into freedom. The congregation parts like a river of light, redwood guardians standing sentinel as torchbearers weave lantern-lit paths through damp ferns. Sparks drift on the night air as children lift their torches high, their faces aglow with reverent wonder. The hush is broken only by the soft crackle of fungal fire, each flicker affirming solidarity. In that silent procession, hope takes shape in living light, guiding the protector toward the heart of the grove. Survivors press forward to Arya Voss, once their executioner under syndicate orders, now their shield and redeemer. Scarred veterans wrap her in trembling arms. Tear-streaked refugees drape reclaimed medbands across her blood-dented chest plate. A child offers her a sprig of glow fern, its luminescent fronds brushing her armored gauntlet. With each gratitude-laden embrace, Arya's steel-clad heart softens, the weight of past sins melting beneath human kindness. Her visor lifts to reveal her eyes, shining with unshed tears and newfound purpose. In that circle of warmth, predator and prey merge into protector and ally. Each embrace stitches a new thread in her broken spirit, binding her irrevocably to the people she once hunted. At the grove's center, the rebels unfurl living bark panels and scatter phosphorescent fungal pigments to create a colossal mural. Dex and Arya, side by side, guardian and rebel united. Artists hum ancestral chants as they brush vibrant greens and golds across rough-hewn wood, the bio-inks pulsing softly under their fingertips. The figures loom larger than life, Dex's data crown gleaming, Arya's blade rune aglow, symbolizing hope forged in adversity. Children trace the painted outlines with reverent touches, planting tiny glow moss spores that take root in the panels. Vines curl around the borders, anchoring the image in living growth. This collective act of creation becomes a prayer of defiance, each brushstroke declaring freedom reclaimed. Arya steps to the commune's carved wood array of salvaged relays, crafted into a living speaker by intertwining vines and copper coils. She lifts her hands, and through the bioluminescent calms, she declares, "We reclaim our homes tonight. Follow the protector's lead." Her voice, firm and resonant, weaves through the forest like a clarion call, echoing in hidden refuges and battered villages alike. Fungal speakers amplify her words in melodic undertones, synchronizing with the grove's natural hum. Listeners, miners in soot-streaked uniforms, artisans clutching toolkits, pause in their tasks, eyes alight with galvanized purpose. In that moment, her broadcast transforms whispers into rallying cries, igniting courage across Arbor Prime's silent hollows. Dex kneels before the gathered multitude, raising his data crown high as torchlight dances on his determined face. For every life they stole, tonight we give back, he proclaims, voice echoing against living stone. The crowd answers with unified cries, fists pressed to hearts, torches raised skyward in fierce salute. The grove trembles with the rhythm of countless footsteps stamping the earth, a drumbeat of rebellion awakening. Elders brandish reclaimed rifles, scouts tighten harnesses, children lift their torches higher. Each vow binds them together in a single purpose, to stand as one against the syndicate's tyranny. In that charged silence before the storm, their shared conviction hardens into unbreakable steel. Beneath the grove's roots, ancient shield generators buried in root-worn vaults stirred alive with a resonant hum. Subterranean conduits glow with living light as protective domes coalesce above the clearing. The assembled rebels exhale as shimmering arcs of energy carve a half-transparent barrier, tracing the grove's perimeter in concentric rings. Sap-streaked elders and torchbearers step beneath the shield, faces eased by relief. The Protector's sigil pulses through the network, proof that old magics and new alliances can rebuild fallen worlds. As the barrier glows under starlit canopy, Dex and Arya rise, silhouettes framed in bioleum radiance, ready to lead Arbor Prime into its first true dawn of freedom. Dawn's first pale light filters through the treetops as rebel engineers race across Arbor Prime's misty ridges, priming towering shield pylons etched into living wood and alloy. Each pylon hums in bioresonance with Dex's data crown. In hidden control bunkers, he watches pulse meters flicker, hearing each heartbeat echo the network's sync. Technicians flip levers and calibrate harmonics, eyes wide with anticipation. Every switch thrown tightens the fragile chain of trust binding forest guerrillas and underground hackers alike. Finally, as the counter hits 1, a unified hum surges, ready to transform hope into protection. At the Grove's command hub, Arya connects the cufflink transmitter to a scavenged terminal and uploads the Syndicate's encrypted kill order decryptor. In an instant, masked collaborators across the Enclave see their faces flare red on holoboards, traitors and informants once hidden among them. Villagers, miners, and former Enforcer defectors gather around, mouths agape as covert orders and backchannel bribes scroll into view. Shock fractures old loyalties. Communities unite behind Dex's cause. Leaders snatch up datapads, rallying squads to detain collaborators. Where deception once ruled, solidarity blooms, each exposed name fueling the Protector's code of justice. A low drone hum swells to a resonant roar as massive dome fields blink into life around the Enclave. Outside, the ion storms, once lethal arcs of charged fury, collide with the shields and evaporate in harmless plumes of glowing mist. Hidden children peering from moss-lined burrows burst into cheers as plasma bolts dance uselessly along the perimeter. Syndicate scanners overhead sputter into static. Below the dome, rebels raise their fists, tears and laughter mingling in the dawn air. For the first time in decades, Arbor Prime stands invulnerable, her heart shielded by unity and the Protector's promise. Seizing the Enclave's uplink, Dex hijacks Imperial comm waves, overriding every corporate and syndicate holostream. Across star nations, hollow footage of massacres flickers to life. Starving children herded like cattle, villages razed under violet sky, miners shackled to drilling rigs. The visuals ripple through frontier ports and corporate boardrooms alike. Smugglers abandon cargo, military outposts lower guard rifles, and shocked citizens slump in disbelief. No screen can blink away these horrors. Across the galaxy, outrage ignites, bonds of empathy spark revolt. In that instant, the Protector's voice becomes a clarion call, summoning every corner of space to reckon with the Syndicate's crimes. Unfazed, Syndicate execution frigates descend on the Enclave, lances of superheated plasma slicing through the storm clouds toward the dome. Inside, rebels brace as beams strike the shield and instantly fizzle into prismatic shards of harmless light. Below, skiffs and gunships attempt strafing runs, but auto turrets repurposed from scavenged relics lock onto Syndicate colors, opening fire in synchronized defiance. Bolts of ion-charged ammunition scatter across the dome's surface, echoing like rain on stone. Each failed strike deepens rebel resolve. Enemy might dissolves before unity's light. Arbor Prime's defenders stand triumphant beneath the gentle hum of their impervious shield. Amid the chaos, Arya dons a lightweight stealth rig and leads a select boarding team through hidden hull vent inlets woven into the shield pylon network. Dex, fingers dancing over the comm console, guides them via the Crown's beacon pings. Left sector now. Corridor 3, hold tight. In near silence, they slip past kill drones and bypass lockdown nodes. Each pulse from Dex's crown illuminates their path, mapping corridors in ghostly blue. As hatch after hatch slides open, the Protector's fighters infiltrate the Syndicate flagship. Precision and trust fuse in every heartbeat. One misstep would mean discovery, but none falter under Arya's steady command. Within Koresh Val's opulent throne room, vaulted in black obsidian and streaked gold, Dex and Arya confront the crime lord himself. Val reclines behind a dais of stolen artworks, expression a mask of contempt. Dex strides forward, data crown held high, and drops the master key into Val's outstretched palm. At that moment, vault doors across a dozen planetary systems clang shut. Illicit caches lock in unison. Val's sneer falters as his empire crumbles around him. Silence overtakes the chamber, pillaging operations frozen in time. The Protector has seized the Syndicate's own chains, turning its power against itself. Arya steps forward, dust and soot on her armor, visor lifting to reveal tears in her eyes. She stands over Val's knees and declares, "You traded lives for credits. Now you'll pay in truth." Her voice, steady and resolute, slices through the throne room's grandeur. Holologs illuminate behind her, looping every atrocity she exposed. Val's roar of outrage dies in his throat as the weight of evidence crushes his authority. In that electrifying stillness, vengeance and justice merge. Arya's redemption arc completed and the Protector's cause vindicated. With Val subdued, Arya floods every network channel, unleashing a deluge of Syndicate financial records, slave manifests, assassination contracts, and corporate bribes. Holoscreens across starports, colony halls, and orbital stations erupt in scrolling lists. No corner of space remains untouched. Merchants gasp as ledgers reveal hidden ownership stakes. Governors pale before proof of complicity. Counselors scramble to distance themselves. The torrent of truth becomes the rebellion's sharpest weapon, splitting the Syndicate's facade of invincibility. In the wake of exposure, unity forms not through fear, but through shared outrage, galaxy-wide solidarity in pursuit of justice. From the iron asteroid belts of Kestis IV to the neon cityscapes of Terra Prime, Syndicate proxies surrender en masse. Governors tear down corporate banners, freeing enslaved workers to reclaim their wages. Merchant fleets refuse Syndicate contracts. Even pirate havens lower their flags in deference to the Protector's cause. On Orbital Spire, the grand atrium echoes with triumphant tears as citizens dismantle data-crowned seats of oppression. Across systems, councils stream live debate on new governance pacts. The Syndicate's once-iron grip dissolves under the pressure of truth and unity. History written by the many, not the few. Seizing the galaxy's airwaves, Dex's final uplink crackles to life. No more shadows for the innocent. His calm, resolute voice spills into academies, warships, and rustic hamlets alike, becoming an anthem of liberation and protection. Instructors at military academies recite it. Council debates open with its phrases, children chanted in schoolyards. That simple vow crystallizes into the Protector's creed, adopted by planetary governments as law of the land. In every heart that hears it, Dex's words ignite hope, forging a future shielded not by walls, but by collective resolve. As Arbor Prime's sky blazes with the first true sunrise in generations, shield pylons shift from sentinel hums to a gentle, guardian glow. Former battlements, once bristling with weapons, are transformed into hanging gardens and communal greenhouses. The data crown rests atop a marble memorial carved from ancient oak, inscribed with names of rebels who fell. Standing hand in hand, Dex and Arya watch golden rays crest the horizon, their silhouettes framed by blossoming vines. In the warmth of dawn, oppression's shadows recede, hope unmasked at last, and a new era of justice begins. Arbor Prime's cobblestone avenues, once slick with blood and oil, now gleam beneath dawn's soft glow. Rebel engineers push eco-sweepers along lane after lane, their bristles stirring luminescent spores into gentle swirls before vanishing. Neighbors emerge from shuttered refuges, trading smiles and nods instead of wary glances. Children dash through fountains repurposed from hidden cisterns, their laughter echoing off moss-clad walls. Former fighters in civic vests pause to greet passing friends, offering fresh loaves and quenching thirst with crystal-clear spring water. Every sweep of the broom and wash of the street marks a small act of healing. Quiet triumphs over vengeance, one clean road at a time. Around roaring council fires in the central amphitheater, Dex and Arya welcome ex-captive delegates to reshape Arbor Prime's future. Miners, artisans, freed laborers, and former syndicate guards lean over bark screens projecting transparent law drafts pulled from the Datacrown archives. By torchlight, they debate land rights, resource-sharing formulas, and judicial safeguards, each voice weighted equally. Arya's calm authority guides heated exchanges, while Dex translates encryption layers into open-source codes anyone can inspect. When a proposal wins consensus, embers drift skyward like flares of hope. Here, justice is not decreed by power, but forged through community will. Every signature on the bark screen becomes a promise to protect one another. Summoned to the dais amidst cheers, Dex is offered the mantle of coalition commander. He inclines his head, voice steady. "I'll guard from the shadows." Gently, he returns the master key of the Datacrown to the council vault, entrusting governance to those it serves. A hush falls before respectful applause rises. Leaders bow, acknowledging his selfless choice. Without a title or gala, Dex steps down into the crowd, pledging to watch over Arbor Prime unseen, a silent sentinel whose safeguarding transcends rank. In that moment, he embodies the Protector's ethos, not to command, but to stand guard over freedom's fragile flame. Arya moves to Dex's side, pressing a hand to his shoulder. "I remain at your side." No longer captor or captive, she claims her role as deputy guardian. Survivors bring gifts of reclaimed med patches and hand-carved talismans, laying them at her feet in gratitude. Under her unadorned armor, she hides scars both old and new, each testament to her vow. Her lifted visor reflects torchlight as she salutes the gathered citizens, pledging to shield every life she once imperiled. In her steady gaze, the Enclave sees that redemption isn't a solitary path, but a shared journey. Arya's promise weaving trust into Arbor Prime's healing tapestry. In the heart of the plaza, Dex and Arya kneel side by side to plant a crystal sapling in freshly turned soil. Its roots, wrapped in bioleum tendrils, sink into enriched earth beneath council-forged tiles. Citizens form a circle, passing purified water drawn from reclaimed wells, each cup poured as an act of communal rebirth. The sapling's first gentle glow pulses in harmony with distant chimes, a living monument to unity. As its leaves unfurl in emerald luminescence, onlookers clasp hands, feeling hope take root in their hearts. Here, under Arbor Prime's vaulted sky, life springs anew, not from conquest, but from compassion and shared purpose. In the soft light of a prosperous Arbor Prime morning, marble fountains sparkle and bioleum blossoms line the plaza's rim. A young recruit tugs at Arya's sleeve, eyes bright with wonder as she asks about a buried past. The air hums with quiet contentment, vendors opening crystalline stalls beneath crystal saplings. Golden rays filter through leaf-carried prisms, illuminating stone paths and ancient mosaics. Elders pause in greeting. Children dart through dancing shafts of light. In this moment of peace, the plaza itself seems to breathe, a testament to hope cultivated in shared renewal. With a hush settling over the fountain square, the recruit's voice rings out, gentle yet insistent. "Is it true my mom once held you prisoner?" The question hovers between ancient statues and living blossoms, stirring quiet ripples among onlookers. Faces turn, enamel cracks and smiles as memory brushes anew. Children freeze mid-laughter, merchants pause mid-breeze. The inquiry is at once innocent and profound, reaching back to a history marked by fear, and forward toward a future rebuilt on understanding. Arya kneels before the child, her armor's edges softened by morning light. She tilts her head, meeting curious eyes as her voice settles like dawn. I did, but then I realized the real prison was letting fear rule us. The confession unfurls across the plaza's hush, bridging yesterday's walls of mistrust. Passers-by pause to breathe, feeling the weight of her words lift from her shoulders and settle into their hearts. In that gentle admission, chains of the past begin to crumble, and the true freedom of trust takes hold. Dex steps beside Arya, his hand warm on her shoulder. His gaze sweeps the expectant faces before him as he speaks, voice steady. And together, we broke free. The words ripple through the plaza, weaving into the morning breeze. A hush falls before a swell of gratitude rises in every chest. Neighbors clasp hands in solidarity, elders nod in approval, and children beam with pride. In that unified exhale, the promise of shared destiny stretches brighter than any dawn. Above them, the crown's hollow sigil hovers faintly above the plaza rim, its violet lines pulsing once in quiet reverence. The emblem, a braided loop of shadow and light, glows softly against dawn's unfolding sky, reminding all who gather that trust can birth salvation. The child's eyes lift, reflecting the sigil's soft halo. One day, I'll carry this light, she murmurs. Around her, elders and neighbors share silent nods, understanding that the legacy of fear has given way to guardianship. In that ethereal glow, generations bind themselves to a future where even the deepest darkness cannot dim collective hope.